Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Mom 40 female, cheated on stepdad 45 male, and ruined my 16 male and my siblings' lives. Plus update. Original post. I am a 16-year-old male, and I have two sisters, 10 and 8. Our biological father was never in our lives. He left my mom when she was pregnant with me, came back 6 years later and said he wanted to make amends, and that we could be a happy family. Somehow my mom immediately started saying that she loved him, but he left after mom got pregnant again. Then 2 years later he came back. I cried and begged my mom to not let him into our lives because I hated him. Well, he said the same thing. My mom also said she loved him, and then he left after she got pregnant again. My mom was a waitress, so the four of us lived in a small one-bedroom apartment. I was essentially another parent to my sisters because mom was always working. Sometimes we wouldn't eat breakfast or dinner because we couldn't afford it. Other times I did not eat anything so that my sisters could eat. My mom met another man, 45 male, a year after my youngest sister was born. He is a really good man. His wife and daughter had died in an accident a long time ago when he was in his 20s, and he met my mom when he was ready to date again. He is a really good man and treated us like his own children, and I consider him my father. He was very wealthy and owned multiple businesses. We eventually moved into his huge mansion-like house. I also had a better school there. We three siblings got our own rooms, and I got better clothes, played video games for the first time in my life, and a bunch of other things. He taught me things, helped me catch up in school because I could not do well in the previous school. He spent a lot of time with the three of us. My sisters eventually started calling him Dad, and I followed shortly after. I remember him crying, hugging us and telling he loved us when we called him Dad for the first time. They eventually got married, and Dad asked me to be one of his groomsmen, and of course I said yes, while my sister were my mom's bridesmaids. Mom stayed at home to take care of us. As far as I know, they were very happy together. They went on dates at least once in 2 weeks, kissed each other frequently, and always told each other that they loved each other. He also knew about mom's past and realized she had issues and got her into counseling. I was really happy that my mom had finally found someone who treated her well. I was also very happy for myself and my siblings and really loved him. He also said that he would pay for college for the three of us. My dream is to become a doctor, and I never thought it would be possible because it was so expensive, and I was so freaking happy. Mom also told me she was very lucky to have found him, and that she loves him, and is very grateful of how he has made her and our lives better. Well, last year July, Dad discovered that my mom was having an affair with his best friend, who was also the best man at their wedding. Apparently, the affair was going on for a long time. I do not know exactly how long. Mom cried and begged him to give her another chance. He didn't, understandably. He let us keep all the new things such as clothes for me and toys for my sisters. When I went to him crying and asking him why he was leaving us, he just hugged me and told me about mom's affair. He said the affair is too painful and that he cannot be in this marriage anymore, and then said that he loved me and my sisters. My sisters do not know about the affair. I do not think they will understand. He got a prenup, so mom did not get anything that wasn't hers. Dad just had to pay the rent of a new apartment until the divorce was finalized. We stayed in a decent apartment, but after the divorce was done, we moved into a much smaller apartment. I tried to be in contact with him, but it does not seem like he wants a relationship with me. He has never responded to my messages. I sent a final letter to him last year December thanking him for everything he did for me and my sisters, and that I loved him and would remember him forever. So now we're back to a one-bedroom apartment, skipping meals and barely being able to afford anything. I sleep on the floor now. My sisters share a bed, while my mom uses another. Mom is a waitress again. I've also taken a part-time at a grocery store to help with money. I just hate my mom so much right now. I only took the job to help my sisters. I have also stopped talking to mom. Recently she came crying to me and told me that she was sorry for ruining everything and that she wanted me to talk to her. I broke down and just said, I don't understand. Why did you cheat on him? He was taking such good care of you and the three of us. He was also going to send us to college. For the first time in my life I was happy. You have destroyed my life. Why do you always have to ruin everything? You already did that twice when you let bio father back in my life. I hate you. I never want to talk to you again. She was crying a lot after I said that. I'm gonna admit what I said was pretty rude, but at that time, I was just so angry. I just hate her so much right now. Horrible thoughts are the only things in my head. It's making me go insane, and I know it's not normal. I read online that therapy would be useful, but we can't even afford food on most days, so we don't have insurance. All I can think about is how she ruined everything. He didn't even ask for much. Mom was living such a luxurious life and was just at home taking care of her own biological children. I just miss him so much. Even my sisters keep asking when they are going back home or when they'll see Dad again. They've also started crying and asking for Dad a lot of times this past year. I just don't know what to do anymore. I am so frustrated and just angry at everything. I wish I could run from here, but if I did, who would take care of my siblings? That stupid mother can't do anything. I guess I'm here because I need some help. I don't really know what to do. Some days, I'm just so tired and don't want to do anything. Other days, I just wished I died and all of this ended. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Where has the best friend gone? The one your mother cheated with. The best friend is married, and he and his wife have 4 kids and are working on things. He stopped contact when things blew up. My sisters do not know about the affair. I do not think they will understand. Why wouldn't they? This way they at least know why he abandoned them. You should tell them, they deserve to know. I am gonna admit what I said was pretty rude, but at that time I was just so angry. You said the truth. In comparison how much she screwed up your lives, everything you said was deserved. She is a bad mother. She only cares about herself. She doesn't consider her partner nor her children. I would recommend to call CPS. She cannot even feed you guys. You need to eat. You can't just skip meals. That's not a solution. An orphanage is better than what you're living through. You should cut her out as soon as you can. She has failed as a parent multiple times. Yes, you only have one family. That family is your sisters. Your mother isn't. You don't owe her anything and you'll be healthier if you cut her out completely. So here's what you should do. Tell your sisters why their dad had to leave. They might think this has something to do with them, which it doesn't. They deserve to know. You should not lie so your failure of a mother can hide how she ruined their lives. Call CPS and inform them that your mother cannot feed you. That's the deciding factor here. They will not care about her cheating. The deciding factor is that she cannot take care of you and your sisters. When you are 18, you could contact your dad and explain how you cut your cheating mother out, but would love to re-establish contact with him. Keep in mind that you're a reminder of her and that he might therefore decline, but it's worth a try. I would not try to contact him right now. Give him time to grieve. Thank you. I haven't told my sisters because they don't know about the birds and bees yet. I plan on telling when I believe they will understand. You don't need to explain to them how intimacy works. Just tell them that mom betrayed them with another man. No need to go into details unless they ask. You are acting like it will traumatize them. What's way more traumatizing is getting ripped out of a situation and not knowing why it happened. And now for the update. About 2 weeks ago, I found my mom dead in our house. She had sent my siblings to their friend's house and then hung herself. She really changed after she got divorced from my stepdad after she cheated on him. My mom and I didn't talk a lot after that. One of the last things I told her was that I hated her and asked her why she ruined my and my sister's lives. I wish I didn't say that. Maybe she would have been alive if I supported her. I have had no contact with my stepdad after the divorce, so my sisters and I live with my mom's sister and her husband now. We never met them before this, and even my mom never had contact with them, but they are the only family that could be found, and they agreed to let us live with them. My siblings and I don't like living here. Both of them are constantly shouting at each other and at us. We're just so uncomfortable here. I don't even think they can afford food for all of us. I have a job at a grocery store, so I mostly buy food for my siblings. My boss is also very nice and allows me to take home some extra things for free. I really miss my mom. My sisters are also always crying for her. She had her flaws, but I still love her. She's my mom. The last thing I told her was that I hated her. I just wish that I told her that I love her and supported and helped her, then she would have been alive today. What I told her tipped her over the edge. I can't do any of this anymore. I just don't know anything anymore. Not your fault. Children and teens say things to their parents they don't mean. Usually, you get the chance to apologize and move on. You didn't. Take the time to forgive yourself. Forgive your mother. You've been dealt a crappy hand. See what blessings you can find amidst the rubble and hold on to them. Keep talking about it. The self-harm prevention hotline may offer some perspective. And be there for you sisters. They need you now more than ever. Hey man, this is absolutely not your fault. I'm not just reiterating a cliche. I have some experience in this area. Growing up, I knew a family in almost the exact reverse of your situation. The teenage son offed himself, and the mother blamed herself. The reality is, he was suffering. He was dealing with some incredibly difficult issues. Without getting into details, I can say that he lashed out in ways that were incredibly cruel, said things that were untrue, and these were symptoms of the pain he was experiencing. And unfortunately, this is not the only one of these sorts of stories I have from my childhood. Your wish that you could go back and say things differently is a form of masochism. Guess what? Lots of teenagers tell their parents they hate them. I did. Heck, yesterday my 7-year-old told me he hated me because he was on a timeout. You didn't push her over the edge, she did that. I am so sorry you are going through this. I promise you, as others have said here, it is on her. You can pity her for the suffering she must have been experiencing. You can be angry at her for putting you through this, but you did not tie that rope. I'm sorry for your loss. Please don't blame yourself. This was a truly miserable situation, but this was not your choice. This is not your fault. I PM you, maybe I can help with a little amount of money. Last story. My sister completely ruined her life and now she's ruining mine. I just have to get this off my chest. Recently my sister has moved back home with me and my family. Only thing is, she has 4 kids and no father in sight, and I have no idea what her long-term plan is. I'm writing this as her younger brother. Growing up we weren't rich. My parents are immigrants that came from a third world country. They worked their butts off for me and my 3 sisters. We never went hungry, my dad never left, and we lived a pretty comfortable middle-class American life. They made a move when I was a baby from New York to Georgia so we don't live in the ghetto, to give their kids a better life. That being said, I have no idea what went wrong with my sister. She was raised with good morals and the same exact childhood as me as she's 3 years older. She got into a relationship with a bum she met when she was in high school. They were supposedly in love, but in reality, it was just BS. During the last few years, from like 2015 to 2021, she had 4 kids with the guy. It all started early 2015. My sister had her first kid. Though I thought she was a bit young at the time at 21 years old, I was happy for her and thought that's where she would stop and not have another kid for a while, or at the very least put off having another kid till she graduated college and had an established career. The first 2 years since my nephew's birth, her and her then boyfriend went and got an apartment and everything seemed fine. I thought they'd be making it by as a small and young family, but that was short-lived because they lost the apartment and came knocking to our parents' house. Around this time, my parents were doing a lot better financially since they had 2 out of 4 kids already out of the house. They went and got a second house that's a bit more modern, while keeping my childhood house that I grew up in for 15 years. I moved into the new home with my parents and little sister, while my parents were going to rent out my old home to other people for extra income. When my sister lost her apartment, my parents arranged to have them live at my old home with her boyfriend and kids since they had nowhere else to go, but they still had to pay rent. All was fine for a while, until my sister got pregnant again. But this is the kicker, she wasn't having just 1, but 2 because they were twins. So just like that, my sister went from 1 to 3 kids in a span of 2 years. Then she started having problems with her boyfriend. They would fight a lot and destroy a lot of things in my old home. My parents had to go over to the second home on multiple occasions due to their fighting. Then a new arrangement came after a while. My parents rented out the upstairs portion of the old home to someone new, and my sister had to move downstairs. She still had it good, because the downstairs is basically like a 2-bedroom apartment with a living room and bath. This is when the problems really began. I'll keep it short, but they would fight a lot. They wouldn't pay rent on time and got really disrespectful. This kept up for a while till something crazy happened that blew my mind. She got pregnant again. I couldn't believe it. Her situation obviously wasn't the best. She was still in school, in a relationship with a bum, living in her parents' old home, with 3 kids. Why the hell would you have another kid? Fast forward a few months after the 4th child, my parents went and renovated downstairs. Hired a contractor to turn the storage in our garage into a freaking kitchen, and basically transformed downstairs into a literal 2-bedroom apartment, all for half the amount you would actually pay for a real 2-bedroom apartment. But my sister just didn't care. Her relationship basically devolved into full-blown toxic, and her boyfriend finally walked out. And not only that, remember all that work my parents did for her. Yeah, they destroyed it all, her and her 4 kids destroyed downstairs. I won't go into detail, but let's just say they couldn't live there anymore. So where is she to go now? The new house. Now my sister has moved in officially with me, my parents and little sister, with her 4 kids, while my parents refixed the home she destroyed. It's just sad, man. We don't even have a lot of space in this home for an additional 5 people. We have to get them new beds and basically take care of her kids now too. I don't know how her problems is now becoming our problem. It would be fine, but her kids are so damn loud. There's literally no time in this home when it's quiet. Her kids are so loud and rambunctious, they don't listen and can be disrespectful. Mind you, she has 1 7-year-old, 2 5-year-olds, and 1 3-year-old. She's now starting to ask me to watch her kids when she goes to work, and it's starting to annoy me. It used to be so quiet here, now it's always loud with toys and stuff being flung around, the kids yelling, crying, or fighting. The only times when it's actually quiet is when the kids are at school or sleeping. But as soon as they wake up, the hellstorm begins. They don't even listen, it's just really bad. Her ex only acts like a dad when he feels like it. I really don't like that guy. He only sees them like once or twice a month. The dude is trash. I just don't like this whole situation. My parents are only getting older and we're done raising a bunch of kids. But here we go again, and I don't see an end in sight. I have no clue how my sister will get out of her situation. It just feels so helpless. It's making me want to move out, but I'm not ready until I finish my degree. I just don't understand how me and my sister can be so different. We had the exact same childhood. Believe it or not, she managed to graduate from college, so she definitely has some kind of brain. So I don't know what went wrong. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Wow, if I were you, I would move out as soon as possible. Also, not your parents' responsibility to cover for her idiocy. To me, it appears that they allowed for this to happen by letting her move in. Yeah, I agree, but you see, my parents aren't the types to let any of their kids be in the street. They have deep family values and are old school. It sounds like good parenting, but it's not. Your sister is an adult with 4 children. She needs to figure her stuff out, and she never will if your parents are always there to fix things for her. Your parents' hearts are in the right place, but they are doing your sister a disservice by never requiring her to stand on her own 2 feet and face the consequences of her choices. And she's absolutely taking advantage of that. She will never learn unless your parents stop solving all her problems for her. She's probably going to destroy the old house again once she goes back. You should ask your parents if you can move into the old house instead. I agree 100%. When she eventually goes back, she will destroy it again. I would definitely move there if I could, but I'll most likely be denied since it's such a big space for just me. My folks would definitely say no to that. I'll probably just end up moving out once I graduate.